What's going on, Cowboys Nation? Buckle up because we've got some insane news dropping that's gonna send shockwaves through the entire NFL landscape. You heard the headline, and yep, it's 100% true. The Dallas Cowboys have officially pulled off a blockbuster trade that nobody saw coming. Brandon Aiyuk, one of the most explosive wide receivers in the league, is now heading to Big D to join forces with none other than CeeDee Lamb in what might be the most dangerous wide receiver duo in the entire NFL. Let that sink in. Two elite-level route runners. Two yak monsters. Two WR1 caliber talents now lining up on opposite ends of the field. This move not only changes the dynamic of the Cowboys' offense, it changes the power structure of the entire NFC. I mean, you've got Jerry Jones pulling the trigger on a trade that screams we're going all in right now. The deal reportedly sends a 2025 second-round pick and a conditional 2026 fourth-rounder to the San Francisco 49ers in exchange for Brandon Aiyuk, who had been at the center of contract disputes for the past few months. Aiyuk, fresh off a 1,300-plus yard season with the 49ers, wasn't being utilized to his full potential in that loaded San Fran offense, and it was clear tensions were rising. But the idea that the Cowboys would swoop in, outmaneuver other contenders, and actually pull the trigger? That caught everyone off guard. This wasn't just a strategic acquisition, it was a statement. And the statement is loud and clear: Dallas is done playing it safe. They're coming for a Super Bowl. Now, let's talk about what this actually means for the offense. First off, Dak Prescott just became the biggest winner in the NFL overnight. This is a quarterback who's often been scrutinized, sometimes fairly, sometimes not, but now he's got the keys to a Ferrari. With Aiyuk and Lamb on the outside, the field just opened up in ways we haven't seen since the prime Dez Bryant days, maybe even more than that. CeeDee Lamb is coming off a career year leading the entire NFL in receptions, lighting up defenses with his agility, his footwork, his elite separation skills. Defenses already had trouble game planning for Lamb. Now add Aiyuk, who's arguably one of the best route runners in the league, a guy who can kill you with slants, dig routes, and who's a total beast after the catch suddenly. You've got to pick your poison scenario. Double team Lamb? Aiyuk burns your cornerback. Focus your safeties on Aiyuk? Lamb will tear you apart underneath or over the top. It's going to be a nightmare for defensive coordinators across the league. And think about the pressure this takes off of Tony Pollard or whoever's in the backfield this season. With safeties pulled back and linebackers dropping deeper in coverage, the run game is going to open up like crazy. The Cowboys might have just become one of the most balanced, explosive offensive units in the NFL with this one move. But what I really want to highlight is the fit, because this isn't just about talent. This is about chemistry, system, timing. Mike McCarthy's offense has been criticized at times for being too predictable or outdated, but with these two receivers, he now has the ability to truly diversify the playbook. You've got spacing opportunities, route combinations, pre-snap motion involving both guys, and the ability to shift into RPO sets that stretch the field horizontally and vertically. And guess what? Both Lamb and Aiyuk are incredible blockers for their position. That means more screen opportunities, more deceptive formations, more jet sweeps, and gadget plays that can break games wide open. I mean, imagine a formation with Lamb in the slot, Aiyuk wide, and Jake Ferguson sneaking down the seam. How do you cover that? You don't. You survive it if you're lucky. And let's not forget, Brandon Aiyuk isn't just some one-hit wonder. This is a guy who, despite playing in a run-heavy system with the 49ers, put up consistent numbers and developed into a top-tier threat even while sharing targets with Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, and Christian McCaffrey. That tells you all you need to know about his talent. And now, he's in an offense that's going to feed him. He's going to get targets. He's going to be a primary read in red zone situations. He's going to have the opportunity to hit 1,400-plus yards, and I'm calling it now, this is the season he finally gets that Pro Bowl nod he's been snubbed for. But what about the 49ers? Why would they let a guy like Aiyuk go? Well, it's complicated. San Francisco is dealing with a serious cap squeeze. After paying out monster contracts to McCaffrey, Kittle, Warner, Bosa, and soon Brock Purdy, they had to make some tough decisions. Aiyuk was eligible for an extension, and he wasn't going to come cheap. Rumors have swirled for weeks that he felt underappreciated and wanted to be in a system that featured him more. And to be fair, the 49ers got some solid compensation here. A second-round pick from the Cowboys is valuable, especially in a stacked 2025 draft class, and that conditional fourth could turn into a third if Aiyuk hits certain performance metrics. But let's be honest, they're going to miss him. You don't replace that kind of production easily. Meanwhile, back in Dallas, fans are going absolutely wild. Twitter is blowing up, Cowboys Reddit is a full-on party, and the vibes are off the charts. People are already photoshopping Lamb and Aiyuk in Super Bowl graphics, and you know what? I'm here for it, because for years, we've heard critics call the Cowboys pretenders, say they're not serious when it comes to making aggressive moves. That they play it too safe in free agency. That they draft well but don't take risks. Well, this move blows that narrative to pieces. This is bold, this is aggressive, this is the Cowboys betting on themselves. And from a locker room standpoint, this could be exactly the energy injection this team needs. Brandon Aiyuk is a competitor. He's not just a finesse receiver, he's gritty, he's hungry, he plays with a chip on his shoulder. That kind of mentality resonates in a locker room. And you pair that with CeeDee's swagger, Micah Parsons' fire, and Doc's leadership? That's a dangerous combination, and let's not overlook the timing. This trade went down right before the start of offseason OTAs and minicamps, which gives Aiyuk a full runway to develop chemistry with Doc and learn the playbook. This isn't a mid-season rental. This is a foundational piece being added with enough time to get fully integrated. And speaking of Doc, you've got to believe he's feeling reinvigorated by this move. A lot of talk over the last 2 seasons has been whether he's the long-term guy. Well, guess what? The Cowboys are giving him every tool he needs to succeed. If Doc can't make it work with Lamb and Aiyuk as his WR1 and WR2, then yeah, that's a conversation we can revisit. But I have a feeling he's going to thrive with these two. Expect a major uptick in deep ball attempts, a boost in play action efficiency, and more explosive plays on third down areas where the Cowboys have struggled in previous years. And now think about matchups. NFC East defenses are going to be scrambling. The Eagles' secondary, which has already shown cracks, now has to deal with 2 elite wideouts. The Giants? Washington? Good luck. This move elevates the Cowboys not just within their division, but in the entire NFC playoff race. They now stack up offensively with the Niners, the Eagles, and even teams like the Lions and Rams. They're not just playoff contenders, they're legitimate Super Bowl contenders. So yeah, I'm fired up about this trade. This is the kind of deal that changes a franchise's trajectory. This is the kind of deal that makes you buy tickets, that makes fans believe again. It's a win-now move, but it's also smart future planning. Aiyuk is only 26 years old. He's entering his prime, and with Lamb and Aiyuk locked in through 2027, Dallas has secured one of the top receiving duos in the league for years to come. That's rare. That's special. That's how dynasties are built. So what do you think, Cowboys Nation? Is this the missing piece we've been waiting for? Is this the year we finally break through and make that deep playoff run? Let me know in the comments below. Smash that like button if you're hyped about Aiyuk in Dallas, and make sure you subscribe because we're going to be breaking down every angle of this trade, from film analysis to fantasy football impact to how it changes the Cowboys' draft plans. This is just the beginning of what could be a historic run. As always, stay loud, stay proud, and remember, how about them Cowboys?